spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. Nobody has more kinds of cars or more kinds of people. See them at the sign of the cat. By Goodyear, makers of the custom Steel Guard radial tire. And by State Farm Mutual. Almost anywhere you live, there's a State Farm agent nearby. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being a part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Shout out to BetUS that this video is sponsored by BetUS. Definitely check them out. Right now, there is the promotion of 150% bonus money. You put in up to $2,000 and you will get a matching deposit of $3,000. So definitely check out BetUS. So, good people. Today, it is Tuesday. This is the typical day that the Dallas Cowboys, actually everybody, has the day off. And you know what's going to be funny to me is, and I've already started seeing some of the early shows today, because of course the Eagles beat Green Bay in Brazil as the home team, and Eagle fans are going crazy, ape crap and everything else. They're just like, oh man, we're great, we're fantastic, we're good. Even though the quarterback did have three turnovers, and had what should have been a pick six and another pass that should have been intercepted. But be that as it may, I'm going to be curious to see how the power rankings go today. The San Francisco 49ers, they ended up beating up the Jets, and I think that we need to start having a conversation about Aaron Rodgers, that maybe Aaron Rodgers is overhyped. I know, people still are going to believe that this is Aaron Rodgers of, 4 years ago, before the Achilles, before he left to go to the Jets. The Jets, unfortunately, it's kind of like the Commanders. Quarterbacks' careers go to die. It doesn't matter who the Jets get. They're just a bad team. We're talking about the team that is famous for butt fumble. You have to look at this and say the Jets are not a well-coached team. Robert Saleh does not look like he knows what he's doing. Aaron Rodgers, who has been Aaron Rodgers, that's not a good team. But what you're going to hear today is San Francisco blows out the Jets. They're the best team. They'll be the second best team in football. They did it without Christian McCaffrey. Oh, my God. That's what you're going to hear. You'll hear that, of course, Philadelphia, Kellen Moore's a genius and Jalen Hurts is going to be MVP, right? And then, of course, yesterday with the Cowboys going on the road against the Cleveland Browns, which had the number one defense last year. We got to see more. They're just a bad team. Now, do you look at this and say, after seeing what you saw from the Jets, that Cleveland is worse than the Jets? I don't think so. At least they had defensive MVP over there. But then again, what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job. The Cowboys, on the other hand, at the moment, I hope we don't start believing the hype. I hope that this team stays hungry and continues to keep putting in the work, because that's the only thing that is going to work. This morning, I want to play a couple of clips from, this is Diggs. And I like this attitude. I'm sorry.
Everything, man. That's my dog. Shout out him for that. Congrats to him for that. I told him that before the game, but we got a lot. We got a lot together. We got a lot to accomplish.
What kind of energy did that bring in the locker room before the game?
I mean, as far as for us, we knew he was going to be with us. It was all on a matter of time that it get announced. Very outstanding, man. He's a great leader. He's a great player. He's a great coach. He's a great teammate, brother, friend, if you will. And yeah, he checks off all the boxes, man. He does. The offense goes through that. So
For Dak to give his.
All right, so evidently Mama was wrong because Mama was like, she was done with Dak and he needed to get away from him, of course. But we don't always do what Mama says. Micah Parsons, who wants to silence people about the thought that he's not going to be a Cowboy.
It started off with a bang. Even before the game with my guy, Dak Prescott's contract extension, most highest paid player ever in NFL history. I mean, numbers, guarantees, and anything you can imagine too. Congratulations, Dak Prescott. I just couldn't, like, my mouth dropped. I even told the reporter, I said, God damn, I can never be broke again if Dak Prescott owes me money. I mean, Dak is that guy. No BS. He deserves everything that he deserves. He gets. He never cheated a game. He comes in every day with positive attitude, great work ethic, and he just always first one in, last one out, consistently being the best player you can possibly be. He never cheats the game, and that's the most important part. So when a guy like that gets his money, you say he earned every single dollar. Couldn't be more happy for him. So congratulations, Dak Prescott. You are one of the ones. No one deserves it like you do. And for anyone else, and that's finna get paid or future endeavors, man, congratulations. I would say, man, I was in the room, man. The first person I talked to was Trayvon, and we'll get a little bit more into that. And we were just like, yo, like we were just so excited, so shocked. And, we happy it gets done because now it puts a lot of like talk to the side, a lot of hush. We're like, man, we got our quarterback now. We can really just focus on, like Dak said, winning games. Kind of like when you don't know the future identity of your career, man, I'm hoping Mike Zimmer is here for a longer stay. He gets an extension at the end of this year or whatever. Whatever things play out, you just kind of always want an identity as a player of how this organization is going to look and things like that. And so having our guys, CeeDee Lamb and Dak done, it means the world for us. And then a lot of fans is worried about me, man. I know I'm going to be a Cowboy. There's nothing like Cowboy Nation. I think the love is very mutual. But as for me, man, I'm just focused on winning games. I want to win those big games. I want to win those playoff games, get to the Super Bowl. For me, the contract is not really what I'm worried about. It's just me being the best player I can be for my guys, my teammates. And, if a contract, something like that happens furthermore up, then that happens. But right now, we're going to focus on just trying to be legendary, be great, and bring championships back to Dallas because that's –
Bring championships back to Dallas. Yeah, that's what we need. We truly need. The fan base, we are thirsty for that. So here's the thing. We have – God. Sometimes when you're in the middle of some shit, you don't remember things that have happened that are relevant. Here's what we always know. The Cowboys are like wash, rinse, repeat. We go through a cycle. We lose in the playoffs, and the end of the season is a disappointment. But at the end of the season, it's a disappointment unless you are the Super Bowl champion. You didn't do enough to be the best that you could be in football. So we go through that. We then go through free agency, and the Cowboys have a philosophy, whether you like it or not, that we don't want to spend money in free agency. As Stephen Jones always says, if you have to go ahead and pay a good player, great player money in free agency, then you screwed up in the draft, which is true. But sometimes when you screw up in the draft, you got to make up for it. You have to make up for it somehow. You can't just say, well, my engine blew up in my car, but, because I didn't change the oil, so we're just not going to put a new engine in it. You're going to be pushing the car. You got to, okay, you screwed it up, you messed up, now you got to fix the problem. So we go through free agency. We look at everybody with their shiny new pieces. I remember when Russell Wilson was out there and people were saying, Dak is whack, get rid of him. We got to trade for him. Just start all over. Okay. Well, thank God we dodged that bullet. People, of course, Aaron Rodgers, Cowboys, rumors out there. Cowboys should trade for Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Good thing we kind of stayed away from that one. Wade, maybe you're right about Tom Brady one. The Tom Brady one, I'll give you. But for the most part, you don't necessarily see those big moves out there pay dividends. We'll see if the Saquon Barkley plays out well for the Eagles. You know, you can look and say without Saquon, I don't know that they win that game. Let's be real here. Saquon was a difference maker. That's not to say that some of the free agents aren't game changers, but for everyone that's a game changer, there's 10 that aren't, that got paid. So I understand their philosophy. Then we go through the draft, and they kind of go, oh, the Cowboys, you know, they didn't do anything to really help their situation. You know, they're a B minus, maybe a B, right? And then, of course, they go through and they trash the organization, they trash the players, they trash how much money they spend or don't spend and everything else, and yada, yada, yada. And then we get to the season, and then the Super Bowl talk starts. The thing that's different, you know, we killed them. I killed them because I looked and I said, man, we should have went out and got Derrick Henry. Oh, my God. We'll see how it goes. We'll know in real time that move of bringing back Zeke and Dalvin Cook, which is less than what Derrick Henry's making. So we'll see which works out better for him. It may be better that we got Zeke and Dalvin Cook just because we have an extra body, that we can keep their runs and stuff down, get their play averages up, let them get rest because they are older, and maybe be more effective in the playoffs. Now, for me, what I've always said with the Cowboys, because the Cowboys have been good at finding talent, homegrown talent, when you look at their offensive line, Terrence Steele, undrafted rookie free agent, Zach Martin, of course, first-round draft pick, Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton, rookies that they drafted this year, and, of course, Tyler Guyton, another guy they found. They find their guys. And when you find your guys and you say we got to keep them, you got to pay them, which means you end up having those contracts, which is a problem. And that is, you know, that's one of those problems that a lot of teams wish they had. You can trash Dak Prescott and say he's making a whole lot of money, but he's only getting $1 million more than what Deshaun Watson's contract was. And you look at it right now, they're screaming to bench the guy, and they still owe him almost $200 million. Well, it's $175 million over the next 3 years. Okay? Oh, Denver took a massive hit with Russell Wilson, and he couldn't get on the field week 1. So, for the Steelers. So, there's some method to this madness. Now, the problem has been is the Cowboys are usually so top-heavy with their talent that when you get down below that, they don't have players that are quality ones. You go from Tyron Smith to Chaz Green. I hate to keep beating that dead horse to death, but it's an example that everybody remembers. But the Cowboys are going to win. It's going to be because it's not just those top 8 guys or the top 3 guys. It's going to be those players down the roster that are going to play key roles. And here's where New England would always use. But you might sign a guy, and he's only good for 15 plays, but they're 15 critical plays or packages that help make a difference. When we look at the Cowboys' defense from the game on Sunday, there were 20 players that got a tackle. 20 players that got a tackle, at least one, or an assist. That's incredible. You had 8 receivers, 8 guys catch passes. 8 guys that catch passes. You had 5 guys that ran the football. And see, by doing this, there's a couple of great things about this. And the great thing is you can't stop everybody. If you have CeeDee Lamb's getting, 70% of the passes, then you say we got to cut out CeeDee. If you actually reduce CeeDee Lamb's number of passes and are able to make hay with the other guys too, so that way they can't just focus on one guy, you lull them to sleep, You end up hitting them with this guy over here and this guy over. Then all of a sudden, they can't stop you. If you can rotate defenders and keep them fresh, because the offensive linemen, they're going to be out there every single play unless they're injured. If you're able to go 2-3 people deep on defensive tackles, they're going to be fresh. He's going to be winded by the end of the game. And you don't get into a comfort level with the guy across you. If you played football before, you know when you play against a guy you've never played before, first quarter, it's feeling each other out. Second quarter, you're getting the gist of it. By the second half, you kind of have their cadence down. You got their moves down. You know kind of what to expect. If you keep bringing in different people that are effective, then I can never get comfortable as that offensive lineman going against this guy. And the same thing when you hear Diggs say, we only use 3 packages. We got about 50. You're going to make it difficult for teams to figure you out. And I love that. And so this morning, I just want to focus in on probably the best offseason move that the Cowboys made, which is getting Mike Zimmer and getting Mike Zimmer's guys in here. And the nice thing is, as we brought in more players, guys like Dalvin Cook, who haven't gotten on the field yet, or Linval Joseph, you've got guys, a plethora of guys that are in there. They're not, the Aaron Donalds, but if you have collectively, they're better than an individual. And that's going to be key. Mike Zimmer, take it away. Let's listen to a little of the press conference.
All right, hello.
Hello.
Fire away.
How are you?
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. First game with your first game here with some new principles from what they were doing before and just the overall implementation of it. What was your assessment of how you guys did as a group yesterday?
Yeah, well, I was really curious to see how if the way we practice and things we did in practice would carry over into the ball game, and really, I thought the guys did a really nice job as far as basically staying on the reservation, doing what we're asking them to do, being in the right place. They played extremely hard, which they always have. But I was very impressed.
Mike Todd Archer with ESPN. Have you had a linebacker that closes the way Overshown did? I don't mean to. It's game one for the kid, I realize, but he seems like he can close pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's got good speed, and we used him a couple times to spy Watson, and so that, him doing that was big for us. Once a guy got out of the pocket, the thing that allows the defensive line to kind of turn it loose. They don't have to worry about pass rush lanes as much, and they got somebody covering for him that has some juice. So he did good, and
did great stuff.
I thought all the linebackers played well.
When you look at future schedule and quarterbacks you're facing this year, to have a guy like that, how good is that to know that you can do some of those things?
Yeah. Obviously, there's a bunch of these guys can run around, and so, I think the defensive line appreciates that, having somebody there that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. You had 2 rookies, got a lot of playing time. Carson started and Nealon. How did they grade out with the tape?
Impressive. Yeah, they were impressive. Carson, I thought he did a really nice job. The day didn't seem too big for him. There was times we were helping him, times we weren't. But he's a tough, competitive kid that likes to play, and I thought first time out, I thought he did great. For a rookie to come in there, that's not really a real high draft pick. And Nealon had some really good rushes. He did some really good things in the running game as well. I thought Leafau did some really good things when he was in there. So I think all those young guys did a nice job.
Saad Yusuf, The Athletic. Mike, with Eric Hendricks, there was so much conversation about his veteran leadership, his knowledge of your system. But for him to go out there and have 2 sacks and an interception as well, did it show kind of how much he still has left in the tank besides just the leadership and all the other stuff off the field?
Yeah, and I think that kind of showed in training camp. He was flying around. He's still flying around. he's a very instinctive player anyway. He's very smart. He helps guys get guys lined up. So, he's, Eric's a good football player, and he always has been. I think he feels more comfortable in this system than, you'd have to ask him that. But, the way he plays, he just feels like he's more comfortable to me.
The Cleveland offensive lineman after the game said Micah was lined up everywhere, aside from over the left guard.
He literally was.
Just is that the usage that you were hoping for? We saw it all throughout camp, but is that the way that you wanted to use him?
Yeah, there was a lot of times I wanted to use some other ways, but we didn't get to it, so we'll save him for the next couple weeks. But he's a dynamic guy, and we want to try and get him a lot of different places and do a lot of different things with him. They have to figure out where he was. We got a lot more of the double chip protection in this ball game than we anticipated. And we knew they did it, but we need as coaches, we need to do a better job of helping him out with some other of our alignments so that he's not getting chipped every single play.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, what did you think of Trayvon Diggs, his first game back from the torn ACL last year and getting that diving interception?
Yeah, I thought he did really well. He's he's understanding the system way better than, because he missed up most of spring practice. So, but he's doing a really good job. He was in the right place, the majority of the time, and I think he's going to continue to get better and better at that. Feeling more comfortable with the things we're doing. It's not foreign to him because I know some of the things they did when he was in Alabama. So I think it's just getting back to it. But as far as coming back off the knee, I thought his speed was there, his quickness was there, acceleration, all those things were good.
Dave Loffenberg, 105.3, The Fan. Mike, you've been through this before, installing a defense for a new, Minnesota, Cincinnati. How important is it that first game, players come out of it and say, oh, I guess what he was wanting works?
Yeah, I think that's important. You go out there and you stink up the joint, then they start questioning you. But, I do feel like they got a good grasp on things now. I had a couple guys ask me, Coach, is that how you're going to call the game? And I said, yeah, pretty much. I said, was it not good? And they said, no, we liked it, So, but I didn't know why they were asking me that question. But, it's just, we just try to do the best we can to stop the other team.
And third down defense was exceptional. How big was that for you, watching that?
Yeah, it's always big, babe, with the third downs, trying to get guys out, and we gave them a bunch of different looks. We did some things. We got the quarterback off the spot a lot, which helped. And so for the most part, we played the defense the way it's supposed to be played.
Mike, Aaron Kazan, LoneStarLive.com. A couple of the guys talked after the game about how there's so many more packages you have and all that stuff. What's your philosophy on building throughout a season and adding stuff that later opponents haven't seen?
Yeah, well, it's really different this year because being a new system. First I had to learn what the players can do well, and then okay, these guys can do this good, so let's keep going with that. But as the game was going on, we didn't feel like we needed to change a whole bunch of other things to do stuff, to make adjustments or things like that. We make adjustments all the time, but so I had a coach one time, and he was very, very smart, and he used to talk about, hey, we'll do this, we can do this, we can do this, and this. And I said, it really doesn't matter how smart we are. It's what can the players handle. And so that's kind of how, as we go through the week, what can they handle as far as how much we put in, how much we think about and don't put in, and kind of go from there.
Nick Harris, DallasCowboys.com. When you see that both starting tackles are out, does that kind of put an emphasis in your mind for the pass rush unit to be able to kind of sink their teeth in?
So.
How are you guys able to plan for the possibility of that throughout the week last week?
Well, we kind of figured that Wills wasn't playing. we didn't know about Conklin until 90 minutes before the game. But you know, like I said before, they double chipped a lot more than we anticipated. You know, we anticipated they'd run the ball a lot more, try to run the ball with big people than they did. They came out with some RPOs, which was a little unique for them. As far as, you know, we knew we were going to get chipped in there, and so, you know, some of it was we gave them a couple looks where we could get some guys semi-free, I guess.
All right, we're going to leave it right there, but definitely a good day, a good start for the Cowboys. We'll see what the power rankings have for us, but guaranteed they'll be talking that the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in football after beating the Jets. But hey, I guess I'm just a hater. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you guys, and we will see you soon. Peace.